Hello guys, in this video I want to teach you all about how to play Shaheen in Tekken 7. I've been really looking forward to making this video. Shaheen is one of those characters that is very simple and kind of designed for people who are new to Tekken, but simultaneously very strong. He has some very generic, typical Tekken tools that are very good, and if you can learn to apply them, I think he is going to turn you into a good Tekken player. And that's what I like about Shaheen. You can play him at any skill level, even if you're a top like competitive Tekken player, or if you're completely new, you can jump into Shaheen, and if you can learn to use his very generic, very small moveset properly, I think it's going to turn you into a good Tekken player. There's a couple of gimmicky things that he does, but I think mainly, he teaches you how to focus on mix-ups, to learn how to set up counter hits. So I cannot recommend this character enough. I think he's great. I think he looks great. I think it's a cool design, and I'm really glad he's in this game. In terms of like characters that have been designed for newer players, there are a couple in this game. One of my favorites, Katarina. Claudio. I think Cosme is very bare bones, even though she's a little bit more finicky and input heavy. But I think Shaheen is like the epitome of a great character that anybody can approach from any angle, and you don't have to waste a lot of time learning how to like play him in terms of like difficult input stuff or anything like that. You can just pick him up and then start going into games and getting a lot of experience with the character, instead of like wasting time trying to learn a specific movement option or something like that. So he comes recommended many times over. So we're going to the abandoned temple as usual. I wonder what weather we're going to end up with today. So what I'm going to do in this tutorial that's a little bit different from what I've been doing usually is I don't like to go through stances like in the beginning of a tutorial, because I think that is completely useless to learn like a stance and a lot of like transitions if you don't have context. I sort of like to bring them up as they become important when we talk about the moveset. But with Shaheen, I think I'm just going to go through the stance now because it's simple and small and unimportant enough, and then when it crops up later you will have just like a reference point. So Shaheen has one stance. It looks like this. It's called snake step or snake stance. At least that's what it's called here in Asia. I think they translated it to like stealth step in English. I don't know why, but I'm going to call it snake step. Anyway, this is the stance. And it's done by pressing down and then down forward and then down forward again. So down forward twice and then kind of holding the second down forward a little bit. He goes into this stance, and it's not really useful. You're not going to do this manual transition all that much at all. This is mainly used for, a couple of moves you have to use it, and it's also somewhat useful in combos, but it's not super important. And so the options that you have is you can do snake 1, which is just like a normal jab. It has basically the exact same frame data. Okay, let's turn counter it off again. Basically the exact same frame data as your normal one jab. It even looks the same, I think. Basically the same. So like I think +1 on block, +8 on hit, or somewhere around there. So it's basically you can do this stance into a generic one jab, which can be useful. It's probably the most useful option you have if you're just going to do this stance, but not super important or anything. Then you have Snake 2, which is this mid that I think is new for FR. It's used in combos mainly because it does a chunky bit of damage. I think it's like -13 or something on block. I'm pretty sure at least that it is punishable. So there's no reason to just do this against an opponent, in my opinion, unless you've been like doing a lot of like Snake 1s and now you're thinking you're gonna try and mix him up with a mid. But I don't think that's useful, if I'm being honest. Snake 4 is the low. It's kind of slowish, but it's got a lot of good range. So if you want to do a low out of Snake, you can do Snake 4. And then Snake 3 is a high damage launcher. And the reason this move isn't used out of Snake all that much is you can do the exact same move by doing forward 3 with Shaheen, and even while running 3. While running 3, that was while running 3, forward 3, and now Snake 3 are basically the same move, very similar, or more or less completely the same move, and they're just like A launcher, a mid launcher that is punishable but crosses your opponent up and is a little bit slow. And then you can like run up and you get a combo, right? So not really any super useful things out of Snake. I can't recommend using it unless you're like doing it for some specific reason in the middle of a transition or in a combo. So just naked Snake, Metal Gear sounds like, but just doing like a naked Snake is not really that useful. One option that you do have, however, is Snake 1+2. That is this sort of long range throw where he crosses the opponent up, and you know, a throw can't be blocked, so if you're causing a lot of hesitation in your opponent, you can use Snake 1+2, and it's pretty decent. Snake 1+2 is somewhat useful, and I'm pretty sure that it is in fact a 2 break, and that you cannot break it with 1+2 or 1. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that Snake 1+2 is a 2 break. And that's all the moves out of Snake. As far as I know, that's everything you have out of Snake, and so now we've just like done that stance, and now we can go into other things. One thing that I'm just going to mention here is that Snake can be cancelled by doing down back, like I'm doing here, and that recovers into full crouch, right? And it's kind of important because some moves that you have will go into Snake automatically, and sometimes you really don't want to be in Snake. You just want to be, you know, a normal like free position where you're not locked into a stance. And so cancelling that stance with down back is somewhat important. But it's also, I think, like the most technical thing you're ever going to have to do with Shaheen. So if you can like go into this stance and press down back once to cancel into full crouch, that's like the most technical thing you're ever going to have to do with this character. So that's nice. Right, so now that that's covered, I want to go into the moveset. And we're going to start where we always start, which is with your favorite mid poke. For Shaheen, just like for most characters, it's going to be his down forward 1. This down forward 1 has kind of standard frame data. It comes out at 13 frames and gives you -1 on block and +5 on hit. So not a whole lot plus frames on hit. I mean, some characters get, you know, +7 and stuff, but it's just like a very standard down forward 1, and it does standard down forward 1 things. So this is your primary mid poke that you're going to use up close. It's very fast and very good, and much like Katarina uses her down forward 1 and her good like jabs and pokes up close to set up her counter hit standing 4. Shaheen also uses his down forward 1 and his close up poking game to set up his standing counter hit 4, which is also a very good counter hit 4. So they are actually kind of similar in that respect. So if we're going to talk about jabs, you've got very standard jabs. That's the 1-2. You also got the 2-1, and yeah, there's not really anything special. The 2-1 I think is mainly like a 10 frame block punisher. Okay, let's do that because we've been doing it in the beginning of some tutorials up until this point. Let's just go through punishment. You've got 1-2 or 2-1 for the 10 frame. You've got 4-1 for the 11 frame. Yeah, this is 11, right? Yeah, so that's an 11 frame, and then you have you know, you can do this for the 13, and then for 15 you get a hop kick, and you get a very good hop kick as well. I don't know why standing 4 is listed in some places as an 11 frame punisher, and 4-1 is listed. Yeah, 4 is listed as an 11 frame, and 4-1 is listed as a 12 frame. I mean, this is a natural combo, meaning that if the 4 is 11, then the 4-1 is definitely also 11, as far as I can understand. If this is something that I've misunderstood, please let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm going to go out in here and say that this is your 11 frame block punisher, and it's an 11 frame move. Because I don't think a natural extension can have different frame data. But whatever. So yeah, jabs, that for 11, and then the hop kick for 15. And then from while standing, you get a 4 for 11. You have a very good 13 frame while standing punisher in while standing 3-3. A very iconic Shaheen move, one of his most famous moves. Probably the reason he was considered to be such an overpowered character in his initial release, because you could use this to get guaranteed damage off of grounded opponents and things. That doesn't really work anymore, but it's still a very good high damage, fast while standing punisher that is going to give you a knockdown and a wall splat. And then for 16 you have the while standing 2, which is your launcher, but obviously you can use hop kicks from while standing as well if you need 15. So that's just punishment. We talked about down forward 1, so let's talk about his jab strings, right? We finished up, I mean, his normal 1 jab is just a generic 1 jab that you're going to use for generic 1 jab things, opening up offense, guaranteeing yourself some plus frames on block or on hit. You've got the 1-2 for the extension, and then you've got a couple of extensions off this. You got 1-2, which is this string, which is he goes into a mid. You've got 1-2-3, which is a safe high extension, and then you've got the 1-2-4, which is sort of knockdown mid. That's going to be punishable. So if you've conditioned your opponent to like only expect 2 hits out of this string, you can use that string every once in a while, finish it to, you know, open them up and maybe cause a wall splat. But it is punishable. I'm pretty sure it's minus 13. Or 12, it's somewhere in that region, so don't abuse this move. But you can finish the string every once in a while. But mainly, you know, you're just working off of normal 1-2, 2-1 for the like alternative, and then the down forward 1 for the mid, right? Okay, so what should we talk about next? I think what I want to talk about next is, okay, let's just go straight into and talk about 4-1. So 4-1 is Shaheen's standing 4. I mean, he has the standing 4 by itself, but normally you're doing 4-1. This is very, very fast, and even though they changed, I'm pretty sure it's since FR, so that you can actually duck the second hit of this, because it is so fast. It doesn't jail anymore, but it is so fast that it is very rare to see an opponent who is fast enough to react to this and duck the second hit and then punish properly. But it can obviously happen, so be careful. Now, the reason this is so good, like I said, 11 frames, gives you 28 damage, so that's good by itself, but the fact that this gives you a launch on counter hit makes the move extremely powerful, and it's one of Shaheen's main tools up close. Similarly to how Katarina will abuse her, you know, standing 4 for counter hit launches, Shaheen does the exact same thing, like you see right there. And this gives you a very decent damage combo. So, okay, that whiff sometimes. It can be a little inconsistent when you do that spin move, but there you go. Very, very good, very important move that you should use a lot. And so you're using a lot of like your pokes, your mids and your highs, and your low pokes to like set up this counter hit move. And it's very, very good. So that's like really the main Shaheen bread and butter up close. Like I said, he's very bare bones. His moveset isn't huge or anything. He's got his jab strings, he's got his down forward 1, and then he's got his 4-1 for the counter hit. And that is really all you need to know, like initially, about Shaheen's close-up game. So if we're going to talk about some lows, the main low that I like to use with Shaheen is down 4. As you can see, the range is very decent. It gives this a weird little crunching sound. It sounds like it really hurts. Like you really look at Asuka's ankle. Look at her ankle. It's really like I'm breaking her ankle. Like it twists in this weird way. Probably really hurts. Is this what's called like an oblique kick in MMA? I'm not sure. Like I'm not an expert, obviously. So if you are, let me know. But yeah, it's a very good low. It's only minus 12 on block, and it gives you plus 1 on hit, meaning that it's like a premium mid poke. Obviously, it doesn't give you while standing, so you can use it to go into while standing. If you want to do like a low and go into while standing, my recommendation is going to be the down 3. And the reason down 3 is kind of cool is that you have the option to press down forward and go into snake step. And so the reason you want to go into snake step off of this is because it's going to give you a lot more favorable frame data. Like even whether it's on block or on hit, you are much better off canceling the recovery animation into snake step than just doing the down 3 by itself. If you look at the recovery frames of this move, after it hits, Shaheen takes a lot of time to stand back up. But if you cancel into snake, you can go straight into snake, do some sort of other move, like, you know, just a generic snake 1, or you can cancel the snake with down back, and then you're just back to your regular, you know, standing position. Or you can, you know, cancel the snake into a down back and remain crouching, and then you can do a full crouch mix-up. So down 3 is a good low. You can see it used a lot by was it Only Practice, who's like a world-class top-level player I saw playing in a tournament the other day. using Shaheen, and he basically defeated his opponent almost exclusively with the help of this move. He did really well. So that's a player to, if it was, I think, I'm pretty sure it was only practice. It might have been help me, but it was one of either help me or only practice. I always mix those guys up. But that's something to check out if you want to see like some high level Shaheen stuff online. Okay, so down 4 and down 3 for very good mids. Remember that it's probably safest to always cancel your down 3 into Snake. I guess I should just say the frame data. If you cancel the down 3 into Snake, let's see here, you're at minus 11 on block, which is not that bad at all, and you're at minus 3 on, plus 3 on hit. So plus 3 on hit, minus 11 on block, cancel the down 3 into Snake is a very, very safe option. It makes the move actually really good, and the range is obviously above average as well. So great stuff. This is your full crouch down 3, which looks more like a more generic low poke with Shaheen, but that's a good option when you're already in the crouching position. So after talking about low, something that I like to do a lot is I like to talk about full crouch mix-ups if the character has a significant full crouch mix-up. But you'll be very happy to know that Shaheen does. And it's very unique, and it's one of the strongest points of the entire character. So, where to start with this? Well, Shaheen, he has a slide. This slide that you saw right there. Lee and Law and Shaheen are like the 3 slidey characters in this game. And they can do this slide, which is a very like long range low that's going to knock the opponent down, cross them up, and put you on the other side. The reason this is so good is obviously you get really massive range. You get decent damage in a knockdown, but just like ducking out here from this position, Asuka is gonna like be very scared of that slide, expecting it to come out, meaning that I can play mind games with my opponent from a spaced out position. You see high level Shaheen players run around a lot and just duck and see what their opponent is going to do. They're playing a mind, they're like, am I going to slide, am I going to slide, am I going to do something else? And they're sort of like, it's almost like a little taunt, and if you're good at Shaheen, you're like using this to like analyze your opponent. How are they reacting? Are they ducking a lot? And trying to use that to set up a good mix-up that where you're gonna be able to win. And that's the low option, then the slide, which is really good. And then for mids, obviously you have for 13 frames you have the very, very good while standing 3-3, but you also have a couple of really high powered launchers that you can use from this position. The punishable option is your while standing 2, which is like a normal while standing 2, 16 frames. Like the only thing that's unique about it is that instead of like knocking your opponent in the air like a while standing 2 or while standing 1 launcher normally would, he just puts them into like a stun launch. But this is like any other launcher. And then the other option that you have that is better in my opinion is you can go from full crouch straight into a up 3 or an up forward 3. An up forward 3 is like a very, very important, very good move with Shaheen that you need to know about. So it's basically an orbital. We have a couple of moves like this in the game right now. Brian's orbital is extremely good and very cheap. Lars has one. I think Josie's butterfly edge falls into this category. It's a slowish but very evasive, very good mid launcher that is actually safe on block, and that's so important, so good that you can have a launcher that is this good, powerful, unduckable because it's mid, but still allows you to be safe on block. So this puts you at -7. I think typically a move like this would be somewhere around -9. So -7 is actually more favorable, but it doesn't really matter because it's just going to end up meaning that if you get a block, then you can't really continue your offense, but you're at least safe. Meaning that when you're setting up the mix-up from your crouched position, you are mixing them between the slide, and then normally if you want to launch them with the mid, what you're going to do is this orbital from full crouch. And if they see this and they duck, that's going to hit. But if they decide to remain standing, or if they don't react fast enough, they're going to eat the slide. And yeah, this orbital is very, very good. It's got good range. It's very evasive. It jumps over a lot of stuff. A lot of inexperienced opponents are going to try and like punish it because it resembles a hop kick. And then normally, you know, if they use like a 12 frame punish, their 12 frame punish will be punishable. So you do this, and if it gets blocked, you can punish their failed punish. But that's not something that's going to work on, you know, higher level opponents. But the launcher definitely will. It's really, really good. Very, very good. And so another important thing to know about the slide mix-up that Shaheen applies from full crouch is that if you look at him right there, his slide will actually recover automatically into snake. And this is why I said when we talked about snake that sometimes you have like automatic snakes that you don't want to be in, and so it's important to know how to cancel snake. So if I do this slide, I'm going to press down back to cancel the snake because I don't want to go into this like slow kind of cumbersome stance because it's too obvious, and I only have 4 moves out of it, and it makes me kind of, you know, obvious. But you can do a snake move if you want to. Like, one thing you can do is you can slide, and you can slide, and then you can do like a snake 4, which is that low, and you go straight into a low. But that's, you know, your opponent has more than enough time to get up and do something about that, so it's not like abusable or anything. But remember that after the snake, you typically want to cancel the snake. After the slide, you go into snake automatically without doing anything, and then you typically want to cancel that snake because snake is not, you know, super favorable, great stance or anything. Alright, so what are some other good moves that we need to talk about with Shaheen? Let's have a look here. Oh, down forward 3 is a very, very good move. It's one of those fantastic homing moves that is, you know, long range, mid, fast enough that it's usable and will cause a wall splat. So when you're facing down opponents who are moving laterally a lot, this is a premium move. It's very reminiscent of Leo's move of the same type. Very similar actually, but I think Shaheen actually gets even more range. I mean, look at the range of this. Honestly, this move is way good. This is really good. I mean, Katarina has like her 444, but that's slow and very cumbersome. But this thing is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, this is probably decent for like whiff punishing as well. So yeah, down forward 3 is a very, very good mid homing move. And what's even more fantastic about it is that it's -9 on block, meaning that it is completely safe. So this is like a premium option for like homing. Very, very good, and probably I'm gonna say you're one of your main wall splatting options when you're at the wall. Okay, next I want to talk a little bit about 444. It's your power crush move. As you can see, it has a very decent range. It's gonna like armor through what your opponent's trying to do when they're trying to get in on you. You can go through that, you can hit them, and then this is another move that's going to cause that wall splat for you. So very decent little gap closing tool with armor. Just be aware that you're at -11 on block, meaning that it can be punished, normally by jabs, but I think this is one of those moves that actually tends to go unpunished a lot. But yeah, it can be punished. It is -11, but very decent little option. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is down back 2-1. Down back 2-1 is a very good whiff punishing, like high damage tool. It can be used as a combo ender, it can be used at the wall. It's a very good wall splatting tool. The range is very long. The main thing about this move being that the second hit is high, right? First hit being mid, and then on block you are punishable. -11 again, but the thing about this move is that it gives you a massive amount of pushback, and so a typical setup that a lot of Shaheen players use to run through and crush inexperienced opponents is they look at this pushback, right? The pushback is massive. So your opponent will get hit by this, and then they, you know, it's their turn, so they just do a move. But if Asuka does like almost any move from that range, she's completely gonna whiff, unless she knows exactly what she needs to do to punish this move. So like if she just does like let's say, you know, she does like a can or something, like it would be a typical Asuka thing to do right there. You just hop kick, you whiff punish whatever she did, and you get a launch. So it can be used as a setup tool on people who are a little bit too trigger happy when it comes to their buttons. but mainly it is a very good whiff punishing tool. It's like a fast whiff punish option that you can use to get a knockdown and some very decent damage. So very nice little move. I really like down back 2-1. Down back 2 by itself, if you hold down forward after it, you can go into snake. Which, you know, if you really like to go into snake, even though it's not really that useful, that's something you can do. You can do like down back to hold forward snake, and then maybe like a snake 1+2 or something, I guess. But the main reason to use that is that it's used for combos. Okay, so we talked about that, we talked about that, we talked about that. Okay, I mean, really for a generic moveset, you've got your jabs, you've got your mids, you've got your homing move, you've got your main counter hit tool. You've got, you know, your lows, you've got your slide mix-up, which is important. You're mixing up, you know, mids like while standing 4, while standing 3-3, while standing 2, and orbital with the slide. That's really important. But that's really it for like your generic moveset with Shaheen, which is pretty cool that it's so small. But there's some really strong stuff in there. Mainly what really good Shaheen players will do a lot is they will like run up and crouch like this and just like try and annoy you, and then, you know, they hit you with like orbitals and stuff. And if you can get really good at that, if you're good at playing the mind games, if you're good at mixing up, if you're good at you know, Yomi, reading your opponent, that's really good. But normally, I mean, you just got like very generic stuff up here, but the counter hit 11 frame move is really good, really strong, and it makes Shaheen actually quite far above average character, even just with this generic small moveset. So what I want to do now is I want to talk about your launchers. And you have a couple of these that are really good. We already mentioned the upward 3, which is the orbital. Very, very good. -7 on block, meaning that it's completely safe. Shaheen also has 2 options for 15 frames. He's got a down 4-2, which is a very standard down 4-2. But it's one of those great down 4-2s that... let's look at the frame data here. Yeah, is safe on block, -7. So a -7, you have a completely safe mid launcher right here, which is premium stuff. I mean, it doesn't have like the range of Leo or Jax down 4-2, but it is completely safe, which I think makes it good. And then if you want to do a punishable option that has a lot more range, you have Shaheen's hop kick. Shaheen's hop kick is one of the best in the game. It ranks up there together with Claudio's hop kick because of the range being so good. But much like Claudio's hop kick, it is also one of those interesting hop kicks. If you look at Shaheen's hitbox, he doesn't really move forward when he does this move. He stays very stationary, and then he just sticks out a very long leg, just like Claudio, meaning that it is one of those hop kicks that can be very finicky to whiff and sometimes even block punish. And you see, you know, some Shaheen players setting up hop kicks with hop kicks the same way Claudio will do because of the superior range and superior hitbox of the hop kick. So very, very good stuff. So now I would like to show you a generic combo off of these 15 frame launchers. We're going to start with that. So for the hop kick, this is what I do. I think it's what most people do. I'm going to show it once and then we're going to run through it. .65 damage is very good damage for a generic hop kick. It's, you know, characters that typically get a lot of combo damage that are known for it, like Katarina, get exactly 65, so very, very good. The combo that I did was I did this standing 3, which I think is known as Sandstorm, which is a good little move. Maybe it's called Sandstorm because, like, yeah, they get like sand in their eyes. If you look at Asuka, that's pretty cool. I never thought about that. That's probably it. And then if you hold down forward after, or press down forward, I should say, after 3, you go into, you have this fast transition into Snake. I then do a Snake 2, for like a damage filler. I will then spin with one of Shaheen's primary spin moves, which is forward 2, 4, 4, which is this move. 2, 4, 4. A very good spin move, long range, and then I will run up. After the spin, I'll do a down back hold forward into another Snake, and then I'll do Snake 3 for the finisher. And Snake 3, you see, it's this launcher normally that we talked about earlier. But the thing about Snake 3 is that when your opponent is in like a launched state, it will actually turn into kind of like a command grab where Shaheen surfs on the opponent, meaning that it does a bonus, like unscaled bonus damage at the end of the combo, meaning that it is a very high damage and very, very good option for your combo ender. And as you can see right there, you get the exact same thing off of your down 4-2. So that's very good. That's like a main standard Shaheen combo. When it comes to like wall conversions or alternative enders, I think Shaheen mainly has 3 enders that I want to recommend or that I want to highlight that I use. And I think this is basically what his combo game boils down to in terms of enders. But you can use, for damage in the open, the best option is going to be what I showed you there, the down back 2, hold forward, snake 3. You can do the down back to 1, which I talked about earlier, for like a nice damage ender. But the good thing about this is that it will actually give you very reliable wall carry at sort of mid ranges, allowing you to run up for a wall follow up. Let's actually see if we can try and get that once. Yeah. So like that, it might not look like this is a move because it doesn't launch them very high. You see, if you look at this, I just basically slam Asuka into the ground, kind of a bit away from me. But and the recovery for Shaheen doesn't look that good either. But this is actually great, and he gets more than enough time to run up. His down forward 1 is very easily going to carry, even at when the opponent has slid quite far down the wall. And then you can get, we're going to talk about walls later, but then you can get like a back 4 for a wall option. And then the other option, if you're looking for a more like sort of high wall spot, you can use down back 3-4, which is this move, and that's going to cause a very good, very floaty wall carry conversion. So let's try and show that as well. Okay. See, that was very far, and that I ran up. It might have looked like there was a lot of not a lot of time, and that it was very clutch, but that was very easy to use. That's going to be something that you're going to learn how to do, even if you're new. It's very, very intuitive, and it runs very smoothly. It's obviously designed to do exactly what it does, and it works perfectly. So I mean, Shaheen is a well-designed character and a well-oiled machine in terms of like how he's not very finicky or inconsistent or anything like that. I'm just going to have a drink. Sorry. Okay, so we talked about the fact that, okay, I can just show you that the Wild Standing 2, again, the same generic, very good combo, great damage, same stuff as the other 2 launches that we already looked at. That time I did manage to mess up the wall ender though. So let's talk about the orbital. The thing with orbital is if I do Sandstorm after orbital, Sandstorm has a high hitbox and I don't manage to hit my opponent properly. So what I do, and there might be better options here, but one thing I see a lot of people do and that I like to do is I just do 2 down forward 1s for filler instead, and then I go into the same combo. So I do this, I do 2 down forward 1s for the filler, I spin, and then I do the same enders that I would normally. So just remember that you cannot do your Sandstorm into Snake 2 off of the orbital. You have to do this for the combo instead. But then like the enders and your options are exactly the same. And like it doesn't look like the combo is very chunky or long or anything, but that did 78. I mean, the combo damage is really good with Shaheen. It's not intuitive, but the damage is definitely there with this character. Really, really good. Okay. So we talked about the orbital, Wild Standing 2, we talked about the down forward 2 and the hop kick. So I think the main launcher we need to talk about now, there are 2 left really that are important. The snake 3 / forward 3 / running 3. What I typically do off of this move that you see a lot of people do is they will, okay, let's just show it once first, I guess. Like that. So basically what you do is you do the move, you cross them up, you run up and you do a down 2, and down 2 is this very sort of like floaty, again very reminiscent of Katarina's down 2. I haven't thought about it that much earlier, but I think Katarina and Shaheen are actually very similar characters. Super easy to use, set up a lot of counter hit forward, down forward 1, have a lot of like similar moves, you know, great down forward 1 poke, simple like low pokes. The down 4 is very similar to like Katarina's down 3. Main thing being, I think Katarina is a little bit more punishable and relies a little bit more on chunky lows. But Shaheen has this extremely good full crouch game with the slide and stuff instead. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so that's the combo. I cross up, I run up and do a down 2, and then I do a down forward 1, I do my normal forward 2, 4, 4 for the spin, and then I do my normal generic enders. I think you can actually get more damage if you just do 2 down 2s like that. That works, right? Yeah. I don't know why people seem to do a lot of down forward 1 instead of that. Maybe it's just that damage is insignificant or anything, or something like that, but yeah, this is just very consistent. The damage is there, so it's good enough, but you know, there are other options you can use, I'm sure. Like in terms of alternative combos, something you see a lot of like high level Shaheen players do for like a combo, like a conversion-y combo, is they will do like off the hop kick, they will do the sandstorm thing into a down forward 1 into down forward 3 for a spin. Yeah, see, that works. But it is less damage than the options that I have shown you so far. So I would recommend the options that I did already show you for these launchers. Okay, so that's Sandstorm 3. Again, easy to perform, good wall carry, really good damage, solid stuff. Shaheen has great combos and good launchers, especially this one. This is an amazing launcher. The hop kick is amazing as well. Basically, when he's in the air, Shaheen is great. So I think makes sense. I mean, doesn't Shaheen... I mean, I obviously don't speak Arabic. I don't even know if it is Arabic, but I think that Shaheen means eagle, or that his name has something to do with eagles, because when I Google Shaheen, I always get pictures of like birds of prey, like maybe falcons. Maybe it's a falcon or some kind of like an eagle. And I think that Shaheen also has like a customization item where he gets like a bird of prey as a pet or something. So if you're from the Middle East, please let me know, educate me, and tell me if there's any kind of special meaning to Shaheen's name that might explain why he's so good when he's flying in the air. But yeah, great launchers. That was a digression. The last thing I want to show you, and probably like one of the most important things with Shaheen overall, his amazing counter hit 4-1. Right? So the combo that I do off of this typically, and I think it's a combo that you see off of most people, there might be alternatives, but this right, great damage once more, great wall carry, 11 hits, a lot of hits. So what I'm doing is I do a 4-1, get the counter hit, I do another 4-1, I spin with a forward 2-4-4, just like I've done in the other combos, and then I run up and do generic enders. One thing you probably saw there, it's happened twice in this tutorial, is when I do this combo. Let's see if we can try and make it happen. Yeah, right there. You see when I do the 4-2-4-4, the second hit will whiff. Because the kick is so low that it goes under Oscar or under the opponent's hitbox. This can happen, and so you have to learn how to time this. The way to do it is just chill a little bit on the spin move, don't spam it out. You see, I'm taking my time, I'm taking it very chill here, and I have more than enough time to still get the combo. But if I spam, it will whiff like that. So this is like a timing thing that you have to learn. If we compare the damage, let's look at the damage here. Let's hit it once. 51. The alternative you can do, this is why I'm bringing this up, there's an alternative that you can do that is a little bit more consistent, which is just you substitute the forward 2-4-4 spin move for his normal 4-3, which is also a great spin move. So let's see what we get for damage there. Okay, so the difference is between 49 and oh, come on. Now like I've gotten the completely wrong rhythm into my head, haven't I? Okay. So the difference is between 49 and 51, so it's a 2 damage difference. If that bothers you, learn how to do the proper timing on that one. If it doesn't, I mean, by all means, use the the normal 4-3 instead. It's very similar damage-wise, slightly less carry, obviously, because it's one less hit. All right, I think that's for it for like bread and butter combos with Shaheen. I don't think I've forgotten anything important. We did that launcher. We did like his jumping launchers. We did counter hits. That's just 4-3. I mean, the 4 by itself is a counter hit 4, right? So most people do 4-1, but you can do like 4-3 and spin right away. If you're worried about people, you know, ducking your 4-1, I'm just going to mention here that you have a mid mix-up, actually. You've got 4-4. And 4-4 is a high into a mid. It's punishable on block, but it is mid, so it's your mix-up for the fact that this is high and this is high. And it's also 4-4 is also a good option for floor breaks. As you can see, it's got a good little hitbox, very chunky damage. So, you know, say you launch your opponent, you spin your opponent, you can run up and you can 4-4. Okay, maybe not after a spin, actually. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe what you want to do is like, yeah, when they're in the air. I'm sorry. You can do good floor breaks with this move. Okay. Oh, one thing I can mention. Yeah, we should probably mention back one. I'm so glad I remembered this. This move is great. It's not like a very known move maybe for Shaheen, but it's so good, and I've seen a lot of people use it lately, and I started using it myself. It's a great effect. It's a great move. It's just a counter hit launcher that has very good range and is mid, and so it's a great counter hit tool to set up with like stuff like, you know, maybe, you know, you can do generic jabs into this, and it'll work a lot. It's got great range, and it leads to good damage. I think the combo you do off of this is just a regular sandstorm, right? Okay, that doesn't work. So this is probably another one where you have to do the down 2. So down 2, down forward 1, spin, or maybe you can do 2 down forward 1s. Yeah, down forward 1, yeah, that works as well. That's another great little counter hit tool with Shaheen. So now I think we've covered all of his important launchers. We're going to go to the wall and talk a little bit about the wall. Actually, before that, I'm just going to mention, I make a point out of mentioning this in all my tutorials. You need to learn if your character has a good command grab, because your generic grabs are way too easy to break. I mean, Shaheen obviously has Snake 1+2, but that's not a generic jab that you can just do, you know, off of like a normal one jab setup or anything. So what he has, he doesn't have like down forward 1+2 or something generic like that. He has down forward 1+4, which is a little bit unique, but it's not difficult to do or anything. It's a great little throw, and it's your main like command throw that is going to be difficult for your opponent to break. And then he also gets really, really good Oki off of this throw, which is another reason it's used widely. One thing you can do if your opponent doesn't know how to get up properly is that they're going to get a completely guaranteed back 4, and that's going to be guaranteed in a lot of situations. So if your opponent gets up quick, they are able to block it, but it's a great little Oki tool off of the down forward 1+4 command grab. Okay, so that's the command grab out of the way. Very good. Use it to mix up your throws. And now that we're going to the wall here, I want to talk about how Shaheen does wall combos. So again, you have a couple of options. I guess we should just show like the easiest and most generic option first. Let's talk about the wall splatting options first, actually, and then talk about wall combos. So again, I told you that this move, the down forward 3, is very, very good. Because, okay, I'm really spaced out here and I'm hitting at tip range, it's not causing the wall splat, but if I'm anywhere closer, there you go. High damage wall splat, 20 damage, very good. And obviously, like I've said before, homing mids that wall splat are so good at the wall, because when your opponent's backs to the wall, they are going to be moving horizontally a lot because they want to get away from the wall. And again, this move is completely safe and it is absolutely amazing. If you think your opponent's going to do an attack, you can armor through it and cause a wall splat with your 4-4-4, which is a very good option. And from a spaced out position, if you want to whiff punish or do anything like that, I think down back to 1 is a very good option. And I think you can also get a wall splat off of your 1-2-4 that we talked about in the beginning of this tutorial. So that's just a couple of options that are very good for causing the wall splat. He probably has more that I'm forgetting to mention, but that's some very, very good ones. So for showing the wall combos, I'm just going to stick to down back, let's say down back 2-1, and then I'm going to do all the combos off of down back 2-1 so that we can compare the damage. So the first one we're gonna do looks like that. That's just like a classic, again with Shaheen, like classic down forward one, classic down forward two, classic hop kick in terms of frame data, and a very typical classic wall combo right there. I mean, doing like a jab into a down forward one into like a big mid, like a shoulder or a back four, is a typical like wall combo in Tekken, and that's what Shaheen gets right here. It's wall splat, one jab, down forward one, back four. The damage is definitely there. It's solid. It's easy to do. It's consistent. You get Oki. It's just a very good solid option, and so when you're new to this character, it's a very good solid option that you can stick with. And then when you're like in a spaced out position, and like I showed you a couple of times in my wall conversion combos, you're not going to be able to get the whole thing if you like splat them from out here and then you have to run up. So what you do then is just you take out the first jab and you run up, you do the down forward one, and then you're going to get the back four completely guaranteed for good damage. I mean, back four is a great move. With a great hitbox. So solid stuff. Again, very reminiscent actually of up back four from Katarina. I don't know why I haven't noticed before that these two characters are extremely similar. I'm starting to think of them a little bit like sister and brother actually, but yeah. And they're actually like in the same area in the tier list as well, which is in the the Japanese tier list, which is probably an indication that even top Japanese players think that these characters are similar in strength, probably because they rely on similar tool sets. Enough about that. The next one I want to show you that I use a lot of the time. Let's see. What are we gonna do for it? Yeah. So this is like your best damage option. It's a little bit more finicky, but definitely not hard to do. And if you're fast enough, really consistent as well. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a down forward one into a down back one, which is just going to allow you to do a generic down jab, right? And then when you're doing the down jab, you let go of your commands and you just press 3-3, and that's going to allow, because you're whilst going into the while standing animation after the down back one, when you let go, you're going to do while standing 3-3. And this is your best damage option. It's very good in terms of damage. Down forward one, down back one, 3-3. Very chunky, 62 off of this wall splat, so super solid. What do you get off of this? Let's have a look. Again, great damage, great damage, very good. And obviously, I haven't mentioned it, but while standing 3-3, another premium option in terms of like costing that wall splat. Look at that, 63. A little bit inconsistent maybe at an angle. Yeah. Off of this I would probably actually just do that thing, because that's going to be more consistent, but it definitely works. Great stuff. So like I told you, like Shaheen likes to crouch to psych his opponent out a lot. You can do that at the wall because interestingly the slide still works perfectly at the wall. Like that. I mean, you get a little bit less space, but it works perfectly, so it's still a solid mix-up at the wall. So you can just do that, and instead of like doing like a big launcher here or anything, you can just do that and you're going to get the launch in the shape of a wall splat instead. Okay, so super solid, super simple, small useful move pool, but very good. A high tier character that I recommend for advanced players who want to learn a new character, or new players who want to learn their first character. I mean, he looks cool, he plays cool, and he's got some really sort of cheap, very strong stuff in the shape of his orbital, his slidey slide, but overall, and his very long range hop kick, but overall, very generic stuff, jabs, a counter hit 4, a solid down forward 1, a safe down forward 2, a full crouch mix up, and that's basically it. And a stance that isn't very useful outside of combos, so very typical, very standard, but very good. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for Shaheen. Let me know if I messed anything up, or if there's anything you would have liked me to add that you want to teach everybody else. I hope it was useful. This character is amazing, and I would very much like to see you start playing him online. I've played him a little bit recently, and I'm probably going to keep on doing it myself. But that's it for the tutorial, guys. I think I'm going to do some other Tekken related content over the next couple of days. Maybe get the next character guide up the day after tomorrow if I have time. So definitely let me know who you want to see. If I don't get any specific character requested over and over, I'm gonna do either Lars or Raven, I think. And another character that I've had a lot of requests for recently is Xiao Yu, so I'm probably gonna have to bite the bullet and start learning some Xiaoyu stuff, because you guys really want to see her. But yeah, that's going to be it for this guide. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and love to everybody. I hope you have fun playing Tekken. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much, and bye bye.